Welcome, baseball fans, to this edition of State of MLB. Some interesting things in the news this week. Finally, the games have started. Opening day across the league, Thursday and Friday. Beautiful thing. Love to see the games. Had some great contests opening night between the Dodgers of San Francisco and the Yankees and Nationals. Rest of the league participated on Friday, and we'll have power rankings on Monday after all three games have finished. And like I mentioned last week, you're going to have all of three games to base the first power rankings on. It's not enough to get a legit sample size, but also you're going to hit 10 games, 1/6 of the season, very quickly. So we'll see how things go as the games unfold and the power rankings are calculated. So into the news this week. Speaking of opening day, Clayton Kershaw was slated to start opening day for the Dodgers, but due to a back strain, had to have some rookie start his place. They did win the game over San Francisco. I'm not surprised, but at the same time, generally you're supposed to put your absolute best foot forward and get the season off with a bang by putting your best pitcher on the mound, and they didn't. I guess they didn't want to mess with their rotation and move somebody else earlier because of how they had things slated, because they brought a rookie in to pitch in Kershaw's spot. They got away with it, but I'm like, then why don't you just move the next guy up a day, and figure that out as Kershaw gets better, but that's just me. Also in Dodger news, Mookie Betts signed an extension, 12 years, $380 million, before he ever plays a game for LA. My goodness. I'm not entirely surprised. I just think he kind of jumped the gun on that one a little bit. I guess after the trade, he moved to LA, fell in love with the city, and loves everything about it. And so he said, hey, I'll play the next 12 years here. Or it came down to the Dodgers wanted to lock him up so bad that they threw an insane amount of money, an insane amount of years, and became like the Godfather. I'll make you a deal you can't refuse. And for that kind of money and that kind of years, he said, hey, I'm cool with that. And so I haven't played a game for you yet, but apparently I'll be spending the rest of my career with you. So congratulations to Mookie Betts. Congratulations to the Los Angeles Dodgers. Both have commented they're very happy with the arrangement, so I wish them the best. As long-term deals go, your first few years were always the best, and the last few years were always the worst. I have no doubt in my mind that every single long-term contract that has been signed, whether it's been Harper, whether it's been Stanton, whether it's been Betts, whether it's been Cole, any of these 10-plus years, Machado's another one, 10-plus year contracts, you're going to get your best few years in the beginning, and at the end of the contract, you're going to be regretting it. And that is a bet and a gamble that these teams have taken to get talent in their prime. Because sometimes that's what it costs. At the same time, it also establishes a very ugly precedent. Because now, you're throwing a stupid amount of money at players to get them in their prime, knowing full well you're going to be eating tens of millions of dollars on the back end. I don't like it, but it is what it is. That's baseball for you. In the other news for home openers, Yankees and Nationals, ratings are out, and ESPN has set a new viewership ratings all time for a single game broadcast, hitting 4.4 million views broadcasting the Nationals Yankees games. Now, a lot of times you can find, if a single person has exclusive rights to it, maybe you can find an alternative way of watching for free. Not so much the case with ESPN. ESPN has a way of having solely their crew in there, and you can't get the coverage anywhere else. There is no coverage from any other broadcast. Therefore, if you want that game, you're forced to go through ESPN. And I get that. I respect that. They're paying tens of millions and even billions of dollars for those rights. if you're going to spend that kind of money for broadcasting, you deserve that exclusivity. Having said that, they also picked the right game for it. Opening day, you have two choices, the early game or the late game. You're going to get more market in the early game, on top of which you've got the defending champions from last year, plus the Yankees always draw a crowd no matter where they are. They're just a big brand name. It was brilliant scheduling on behalf of Major League Baseball. Plus, ESPN covers that. Not only did it work out well for them and their advertisers, but worked out well all around. I forgot what I was going to say on the back end. It's essentially, they broke a record, and congratulations to Major League Baseball for establishing that new record. The previous record was 3.7 million viewers for a game in 2011. So it's been 9 years since you've gotten that kind of view on an ESPN game, and it was well played, well done, and a 4-1 contest in the Yankees' favor. And you play game 2 Saturday night. So I just thought that the viewership and the ability to come back with a bang and rein in the crowds was well done, even with an empty stadium. It shows that those broadcasting rights are paying off, considering you can't see the game any other way. You're forcing everyone through that tunnel. In other news, the Toronto Blue Jays have finally established a home after the Canada has said they cannot play in Toronto, considering all the cases in the U.S. They have been going back and forth between playing in Washington, playing in Pittsburgh, playing in Buffalo, and they finally settled on playing in a minor league stadium, Salon Field in Buffalo. It's not up to Major League standards because unless you're a Major League club, you're not required to have those standards in place. So while players prefer to play in a Major League club and 2 clubs have offered to host them, due to scheduling conflicts and other things, the Toronto Blue Jays have settled on their own field up in Buffalo, so they'll be getting that retrofitted and upgraded as needed. While the Blue Jays are on the road right now, first in Tampa Bay, and then I checked the schedule. I think they're not in Philadelphia, Atlanta maybe. Anyway, they're going to have 2 road series to go. That's 6 games. It gives you about a week for them to outfit the new stadium, prepare for their home opener up in Buffalo. So, good luck to you, Blue Jays. Glad you finally have a home, whether you like it or not. It's something to do. It lets you play your games. And one thing I was very proud of, and gives me a lot of hope for the future. The new San Francisco Giants are the very first Major League Baseball team to hire a female coach at the Major League level. Congratulations to Alyssa becoming the first base coach for the San Francisco Giants. Not some minor league club, but the Giants. Congratulations. I love it. I absolutely love it. I think barriers are meant to be broken, records are meant to be broken, and fundamentally, I still hold out hope that, albeit I have no idea if it's going to turn out, my daughter is 4 years old. I tell people I'm hoping that when she hits adulthood, when she becomes 18, 19, 20 years old, I have encouraged her to love baseball so much, and she gets into it over her youth and becomes the very first female Major League Baseball player. I realize that because of the physical nature of the build between men and women, that's statistically unlikely, but I still hold out hope because you never know. It would be wonderful to watch my daughter play for a Major League Baseball team and retire my wife and I. I know, pipe dreams are pipe dreams, but everybody can have fantasies for a reason. So either way, regardless of whether that ever happens, I am very proud of Major League Baseball and Alyssa for this breakthrough, and I certainly hope that it follows through. Because fundamentally, I've always felt that it shouldn't matter your age, gender, or any other details beyond your control. If you know the game, if you have the talent, you know what you're talking about, those things beyond your control, race, creed, what have you, gender, all those things should not matter when you're getting a job. So to see a female break through and use her baseball knowledge to help a major league club is a phenomenal thing, and I would love to see it promoted well beyond first base. I sincerely hope the same way the Seattle took a chance on Ichiro to bring him in from and LA had some players as well, and because the first Japanese players came here and were such a success, you now see a lot more of them. I sincerely hope Alicia succeeds exceedingly well in San Francisco. Others take notice that yes, females can coach at the major league level just as well, if not better than the men. And let's give them an opportunity. Let's bring in some women who know what the hell they're doing and can do a good job. Because I don't see any reason why not. I love talking baseball, and I know that knowledge of the game is not strictly a gender thing, fundamentally. And there are plenty of women who know the game very well. There are plenty of women who are playing the game very well, who know the strategy, who know how to take advantage of a game situation. It's wonderful to see them finally getting a chance to do that. Wonderful work. So, on that note, let's end on the playoff format, which has been established. It's been very interesting. They did do an expanded rotation in a shortened season. They have more playoffs. As I mentioned before, there were negotiations. The owners did not want to have to take the losses on the regular season games, but were willing to do so to get the playoffs for them to make the big-time national broadcasting money. Therefore, they have agreed that the players were wanting more games, but they were willing to do the extended playoffs. That was the one area where they kind of mutually agreed on. So that's what they got. Instead of having 10 teams, you're now going to have 16 teams this season. Whether or not it's going to play out beyond that remains to be seen. But it's like Congress. It's when you pass a law, it's very unlikely and very difficult to get rid of it. I think they're going to play this out to see how it works out. They're probably going to try and push to keep this in place. I don't really have an issue with it, honestly. I think it's going to be very fascinating to see this play out. You're going to start with 16 teams where there is no wild card, and then the first team waits for the winner of that. It's going to be all 16 teams playing the first round. It's going to be a best-of-3 series first, and then like an NCAA tournament where you have your winners of 1 through 8 playing the winners of 2 through 7. Yada yada yada, will go on to play the next round, a best-of-5 series. And then the winner of that will go on to the League Championship Series, which will be a standard best-of-7 series. And then you'll go on to the World Series, where you have that that standard 2-3-2 format. You have the World Series to cut down on travel days and what have you. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. It'll be 4 rounds instead of wild card, division, league, World Series, still 4 rounds, but instead of having a 1-game wild card, you now have best of 3, like you would have 3 games set throughout the season. Except for the fact that now that you can either end the season early by winning 2 straight, or that rubber game would become the deciding factor whether you move on. I think it's going to be very interesting, and I'm in favor of this format. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch how this plays out. Because anything can happen in a very short series, and that wild card puts too much on one emphasis of a game. I never liked the fact that football only had 1 game to determine each round. At the same time, there's not a sport that can play a best of, the nature of the beast. Whereas hockey, NBA, and baseball can do a best of, and by having that, you have an opportunity to see who really is the best. Because fundamentally, how often does the winner of game 1 win the whole series? You know, it's too much of the chance, too much on 1 game. Yes, it changes the strategy of the game as well, but I also think that the more baseball, the better. So let me know what you think about what I think about the playoff strategy. Let me know what you think about the news of the week. I look forward to hearing about all your comments in the section below. And if you just happen to be coming across this channel on YouTube, please hit like and subscribe. It greatly helps the channel. As always, thank you for watching. Talk to you next time.